Hello, hello, hello. Hello, am I audible? Hello, is it audible now? Hey, 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 everyone. We'll meet. We'll wait for 5 minutes and we'll start. Perfect, perfect. Thanks for confirming that. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. That's so cool. So, how's Global Hack Week going for everyone? Would like if we can spam some emojis and etc. So I can feel the energy and we can get started, right? Hey, hey, hey. That's great. That's great. Hey, hello, 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 hello. Yeah, we will talk about that. Yep, yep, good, great. So yeah, let's start. I guess we are good to go. I will just post a notification once in the Discord, I think. Um, I think we are good. Great. Yeah, so let's start. I'll just add a small like presentation, you can say. So, hello and welcome to Global Hack Week, right? Uh, who am I? I am Kailash. I am MLH coach and host for your workshop today here, right? And fun fact, this is my first stream as an MLH coach, and I am really glad you are joining here for this workshop. And again, another fun fact, I like anime and K-drama. I love to watch them during my free time. Great. Uh, Thank you so much. I like the enthusiasm. Great. So, what are we seeing today? So, basically, we will be trying to see what, how can you utilize your GitHub very efficiently while you are submitting your project to your hackathon. So, we know that whenever we have to submit our projects to hackathon, it's generally through we build our project, we push it to GitHub, and then we put the GitHub URL as a submission to our project, right? But many a times GitHub plays a crucial role when the judges are judging your project. So today we will be seeing how you can utilize your GitHub in such a way that you maximize or like you are able to present your project in more good sense or ideal sense, right? So we will be looking into that. So let's set up. So now we are going to set up a project. Like I will be demoing it to you right now. So let me just bring up uh, my GitHub just super quickly. Uh, share screen. Uh, this is cool. So let's see. I hope now. Cool. I hope you all are able to like see my GitHub. I hope it's visible. Is it visible to all? Let me just get a quick confirmation so we can just start. Yep, perfect, perfect. So now what we will do is, as we basically do is, we will go and create a new repository, and we'll like see from absolute scratch how we can like go around it, right? So let's go ahead and put the name JSW December. Uh, so while going through, you can like actually see what all steps I follow, because even if the steps might seem a bit small, or yeah, that optional step, but see what extra effort always will bear some fruits for you, right? So now I will add description, which is optional, but still I will add it, right? Okay, let's go ahead and add. So this repo is for demonstration for my GSW stream. See, a sensible description, even if it's big, yep, go for it. And then add readme. This is on you if you have to add readme from here itself, or add it through like pushing while pushing your code. Cool. So then git ignore, yeah, we can like do that. Then let's go not MLH, MIT, MIT license. I usually prefer MIT license because it's most generic and most common one and suits most of the projects. But if you have a specific like reason you need specific uh, license for, or you know how to build your own licenses, that's well and enough. You can do that as well. So let's create a repo. Cool. Now our repository is created, right? And it has like all the stuff which usual GitHub repository has whenever you create a repo. Makes sense. Cool. And uh, by default, there are many features which are enabled and there are many features which are disabled, right? So according to our use case, we have to figure out how to enable stuff and disable stuff. So whenever like most of the submissions which we see on GitHub are built upon a default settings which GitHub provides. That's okay. But what if you are able to customize it and make it absolutely focusing on your project and the features you want to demonstrate? Wouldn't that be a really amazing way to show how you are well versed with all the uh, tool GitHub tool and all the GitHub features, or how you are adding efforts while you are actually submitting a project, right? So this is our repo, and let's go ahead. And this is just a setup. So setup is not big. There's just a GitHub repo, and we will be building everything on it. And I will be exploring you through all the like most of the famous GitHub features and my favorite GitHub features whenever I try to judge a project and what all things I look into GitHub repository. I will be sharing that. So are my slides visible? Let me just check here. Yeah, I guess it's visible. Okay, so let's see some usually forgotten features. So first is GitHub commit history. So this is usually mentioned when you are at hackathon. So if you check out some rules, etc., for your project submission, you will find that there will be a rule that or a criteria where they mention specifically that they will be checking your commit history to see whether you have worked on the project during the hackathon hours and not previously built project. So let's see what they really do mean. So if you just go here, you can just check the commit history here, and it will say initial commit, right? So this is like big, like maybe what we can say, uh, uh, a bad point or a red flag for any judge if they see only one commit and your entire project is basically here. So what that tells is that even if you have built entire project at one sitting and pushed it to GitHub in one stroke, and that shows only one commit. So there is not actually a proof that you have worked on this project during the uh, hackathon times, right? So that can it is possible that you have like downloaded or pulled code from your existing project or someone else project, and then you are trying to push it at one go for on your GitHub repository. That's absolutely possible, and there might be certain cases for that. So whenever you are trying to build a project, and if it is on GitHub, try to build your project from the beginning on the GitHub. So instead of building entire project and then pushing in a single stroke, what you can do is you can create a project repo as soon as the hacking period starts and build the project, whatever small features or any addition you do, push it to GitHub. So you will find that there is no maximum commit criteria or anything like that, right? So that actually gives you an edge. So what personally I do when I participate in hackathon is whatever I do. If I do some changes in single file and if the project is now working, I will push it. Whatever small change I do, even if I add a simple function, simple button, anything like that, I will just push it to GitHub. So that shows the judges that this is not something like there are validations that this project has been worked during the hackathon, because they can actually see I added one thing, second thing I have deleted some stuff. My project, like my teammates are also contributing side by side, and they can see that everyone has contributed in some way or the other. That is not mandated that everyone should commit, but they can see that how team is working, how everyone is like committing small changes. They can actually go obviously to every commit and see what changes have been done, and it's not like a spam commits people are doing to just populate their commit history. So majority of people, like whenever I try to judge, I usually take a look at the commit history, just try to see if they have good commit messages or anything like that. That doesn't add uh, like extra points or anything, but if the people have given like sensible commit name or anything like that, that actually adds a good impression on me or other judges. They can see that you have actually worked on it and you are giving extra effort to putting like good commit messages, or actually uh, committing you side by side and like maintaining good practices of open source. So that is a good thing. So first thing, uh, try to maintain a good commit history while you are trying to work on a project or anything, and encourage your team members to like contribute and commit side by side on the project on GitHub. So uh, it's not like one bulk push from everyone and there's all the conflicts, etc. But the point is try to maintain a good commit history, a sensible commit history. Great. Uh, Now coming back to the second one, GitHub issues. So mostly when we try to work on projects and the projects which are usually short term, like hackathon projects, which are usually 48 hours or 12 hours to 24 hours. So usually people like forget to like not forget, they feel it like the issues feature is not that useful. You can actually do meetings with your team members because you know them actually. You can actually communicate like you do this, you do that, and you can delegate the work among yourselves, and you can actually start working. You don't need to like log everything and communicate, right? But I would like to bring it to like attention that if you have like uh, adding issues while working on projects, and there are many judges which like to see it, including myself. I like to see all those things. So even if it's issue, even if it's discussed among yourself, it's like good practice to make it issues, use the issues as your maybe to-do list, right? So you don't have to actually put so many technical or hard definitions for your issues. It can be as simple as build a navbar. Issue names can be build a navbar, and it can have some check boxes in it saying that we need home button, about button, etc. It can be that simple, but adding that shows the judges that it shows your like thinking process and your brainstorming process all over to the judges. So if someone comes to your project, let's say, and they see how you brainstorm, you allocated every issue to like some team members, then you communicated, you started checking off the issues, and they can actually see. So there's actually one section in your like presentation, it's like future scopes or what you are trying to build. So say suppose you had like 10 issues, were trying to build 10 features, and you were able to build 5 features during the hackathon, right? So when the judges come to your like submission, or when you're trying to pitch it to judges, you can actually show that there were actually 10 features we were trying to build, and now we have up to 5, and these are in our next 5. It's in our roadmap, right? So that gives the impression that you are not actually like building only one single thing and everything is locked. Judges really like to see your thought process and get involved. So it's really great if you can get the judges involved in your uh, like storyline of your pitching through your submission. That is really great, because judges are there are so many teams working, and they just don't know the story or the brainstorming behind every team's project idea, etc. Right? So if you can demonstrate it through your issues or anything like that, that would be really great. Let's see some comments for now. Mm, Okay. If you merge a branch with main branch, would the commit history from the merged branch appear in the main branch commit history as well? Okay, by default, by default, it will get all the commit history entirely. So you don't have to worry about it. But if it's like you are trying to work on single button, right? So you are trying to work on single button, and there are been a lot of trials and errors, right? And you don't want all that trials and errors to reflect on your commit history. For some reason, you just want the button to be shown in commit history. Then you can actually squash the commits and show it in your commit history. So when someone sees, they see that hey, there has been button added in the commit history, instead of the text of the button changed, the color of the button changed, alignment of the button changed. So that complexity gets a bit reduced. But if you want, you can keep that as well. I would like it's 50-50. It's on your preference. I usually just merge all the commit history. I don't plan on the squashing, because I work on different things at different times. So once I create a button, then I will work on something else, and then I will come back to button stuff. So I keep on jumping. So I usually merge entire thing, but it's on you if you want. Thank you for the question, by the way. Yeah, perfect. That is correct. Uh, Great. So now we are done with the issues, and that was the point that if you are able to like use issues as a to-do list, maybe that can be a great way. Then project boards, again, most of the people think that it's not necessary to use project boards and etc. But it's a really great way to show how you manage your stuff, or like a bit of your uh, team managing side of things, the judges are able to see. So, say suppose your project etc. is very good, but what if you are able to show how you manage stuff, how you put priorities in your issues, or priorities while you're building your project, right? That would be really great. It might sound hassle at starting, but trust me, it creates good impression on judges that you are actually taking your project a bit serious. And you want to get it in a systematic manner, and that's all the hacking is all about, getting your ideas out there. But what if the ideas are getting out there in more structured and managed way, right? So let's try to create a project maybe. Let's see where that goes. New project. uh, okay. uh, this is the table one. Now there are many new features for. I hope you all are able to see it. I guess this is good layout. Okay, so like there are new features. I usually go with boards because I like to like move things around here and there. But if you're on table, etc., there is a team backlog and templates. Like let's see, the feature template is there. Team backlog. There are templates as well, so you understand, right? So what if we create a project board? Okay, we have a project board. Now what? Now let's say we do here build a nav. So these are examples whether you can add actually anything, right? So now you have never added here, right? And the best feature I feel for the project boards is that whatever issues you create, you can actually put that as a, like a note for the project board here. So say suppose you have created a to-do list for your navbar and you put that to-do list issues into to-do form, and then you can just drag drop them whenever you complete them, then in progress, then done. And yes, you can automate this. This is a Kanban board, the like the most basic and most widely used technique for like project management. So you can actually do this, then add new ones, so build a body uh, for the website maybe. Yeah, you can do that, then put in progress. So this actually shows, so if I come into your project and I see how it has been laid out, your project. So this doesn't, this is not actually mandatory, right? So whatever I'm telling today is not at all mandatory, but it is a good practice you should have while you are building project for hackathon or not for hackathon as your personal project as well. So these are all as like I like to call them as good practices of open source and project management and building. So that's what I'm trying to tell you all today. So this is not at all mandatory. The project submission is still valid if even if you don't do this all, but it creates a good impression and you feel good about yourself that you are able to manage all this stuff. And in industry, this is going to be what you will be doing mostly, right? So this is how the projects are done. You can bring them back and actually judges or any viewer, or even if the hackathon is over and someone you try to submit your project to, maybe you try to mention it in your CV or share it with your friend and any other stuff for reviewing, etc. Right? So it is like it would create a really good impression that you're not just using GitHub to just push your code and like collaborate with within the code, but you are actually experimenting and using all the good features GitHub has to offer. And these features are actually really useful, and I really like them. Usually use them in most of my projects. So that's the project board. Cool. Then GitHub community standards. This is very, very essential if you are trying to uh, build a project. Project, I'm saying, not a hackathon project. Of course, hackathon project, but uh, again, this is not mandatory, but really good to see if you have. It is really good to have these community standards whenever you are building open source project in any sense, right? Okay, so if you go to insights, you can see here the community standards. So in insights, if you go to community standards, you can actually see a checklist. So for now, we have added description, README, and license, and all others are in like yellow. So we haven't added them yet. So even if you forget what all you have to add, just go to community standards, and you will actually find this checklist. So just try to complete this checklist, and you will be like 40% around in like community standards. So why are community standards essential? So just putting your code on GitHub doesn't really make your project open source. Adding a license to it, adding README, adding documentation makes it open source project altogether. So just pushing your code to GitHub doesn't really make your project open source, as I said. So these are the community standards. Then you can absolutely like issue templates, pull request templates. You can add contributing. You should definitely add code of conduct. Uh, as I always say that if you don't find a code of conduct in an open source project, I do not recommend contributing to it. So most definitely you should add a code of conduct, license, then contributing. So contributing generally has the steps and all the things you should be knowing while you are trying to contribute to that project. So after hackathon, obviously your project is on GitHub. So uh, I hope it's there. You are planning it to make it open source and accept contributors. So contributing file is really useful when you are doing that, so people know how to set up your project, maybe, and how to contribute, what are the guidelines and what practices you use, maybe what linters you use. There are multiple linters, and linters usually fail during CI/CD. So good way to mention it, how you are setting it up, what practice or what formats you use for coding, everything. So whenever someone tries to contribute to your project, they know each and everything about your project, and have a good sense before contributing to your project actually. So yeah, and you can actually uh, explore all these. These are really good. So you can actually check first and just make sure that there's not only single team member working on everything and they are pushing. Try to be collaborative, try to experiment on things, but again, not mandatory. Then community. Actually, you can enable discussions and community here, but for hackathon project, that's really not essential. So I won't enable it. So as I said earlier, there are many features enabled and disabled. For hackathon project, you don't really need discussions. There aren't going to be big forum, like people communicating like Stack or Flow kind of things. But if you after hackathon, if you are planning to keep it in open source, I would recommend enable the discussion, so there are not like all the generic communications that are happening. Instead of issues and making the issues cluttered, it would go directly to discussion. That is a good thing. Traffic, etc. You can just check all these things: dependency graph, code frequency, etc. I will leave that all up to you and your exploration. Next thing is GitHub project tags. Okay, this is kind of fun. Not most people just ignore it, but GitHub project tags is the like topics you can put here. So I'll put MLH here, then global. Uh, okay, I guess after space you don't really get that. So global hack week, global hack week, then GSW, GSW streaming, anything like that. So what difference does it make? So it just makes your project more discoverable. So if someone has have to search for, say, suppose the projects which are connected to MLH somehow, they just search about MLH, and what are the chances your project show up in general sense, it is there are very less chances. But if you add these topics, your project is most definitely going to be in the list of the search. So good thing whenever a judge lands on your project and doesn't know anything about your project, it's a good way to show the technologies you use, the things you are trying to build, etc. through this. So say suppose I land on one of your project and I see like, okay, JavaScript is being used, okay, Docker is being used, okay, they are hosting maybe on Kubernetes, or they are trying to use Django, they are trying to use MongoDB, PostgreSQL, anything, uh, anything like that. So you can actually add your tech stack there. So whenever someone lands there, they actually, at a first glance, they know what this project is built on and what they can expect from the project, right? So that's what it is. Uh, uh, so let's, oh yeah, if your project doesn't have license, it's technically not open source, so it's good to read up. And yeah, exactly. So if your project doesn't have license, it's technically not open source. Just the code is readable. You cannot actually fork and edit it, etc. There's the license provides you the permission, etc. Specifically for the things you can do with the open source project. So yeah, that's a correct point. So we have explored the topics, that is tags, and when we say tags, there is actually for issues as well. So say suppose we create issue example, submit an issue, and now you can see the labels. So these are like pre-built, pre-defined labels by GitHub. So you can actually edit your own labels here. So if you get just few new labels, so maybe hackathon submission. So if and the tag. So this uh, issue is to be worked on by the hackathon team. So if you want the issue to be only worked by on like by the hackathon team, then you can actually add this to your issues. And like let's see, labels and hackathon. See hackathon submission, and you can actually add this. Like you can just create some good custom tags for your issues. It looks good, right? So if I just hover randomly on the issues that are open and I see all these amazing like customized tags there, you can actually add emojis there. So I'm big fan of emojis while working on projects and open source. So I usually add it to my commit messages or tags like this. So it feels super cool that someone has like added emojis there. So you can actually add emojis to this tag, and you can customize all the issue tags, and it feels super cool to see. Yeah, that's what was for the tags. Not mandatory again, but really good and makes your project extremely presentable for to the uh, judges. And at the last, GitHub README. Why did I put it at last? The thing is because it's most commonly talked about. Whenever we say, "Hey, how can I submit like a good hackathon project from GitHub?" Most people say, "Have a good README, have a have put this in README, that in README," but nobody really talks about other things in your project, right? So that's why I put this at the end. But README is super essential. So just don't I don't recommend putting this pre-made text in your README. Try to be a bit more creative with your README. Add uh, screenshots of your project. Add the demo you create for your project, right? So you can actually embed the video files now on your README. So take use of that. So uh, you can actually add videos, you can add GIFs, you can add images, then emojis are there. Try to explain what your project is. Then whatever you submit on the dev post submission page, you write all the inspiration, challenges, etc. Try to include it here as well. So you can actually submit your uh, GitHub README as your submission template there as well, or vice versa. So even if you don't want to write the entire README at the start, it's okay. While submission, etc., you can actually write your README. So as a judge, when you come to a project and it has a really good README, really structured, it says what is the project about, what is the inspiration, how like what tech stack they built it on, how to set up the project, how to use the project. So even if I'm trying to use the project, how will I go ahead and set the project up on my local system? Everything like that. So make it a bit presentable, even if you don't want to put all this information, use tags, and there are a bit more like uh, what do I say to that? Widgets, not correct word, but you get the sense that the colored cards you get on your GitHub readmes, there are various card generators and that tags generators online, so you can actually create one and just embed it into your readme, and it feels all like graphic. I would like to show you example of one of my hackathon projects actually. So let's just go there. Oh, not this. Mm, Let's quickly see one of these projects. Okay. Uh, Okay, I hope you are able to see. So this is Spellbind. It was a game, uh, and we were building this game actually. And you will see actually this. So there are like issues going on. There are like pull requests, etc. I'm not sure if I have enabled other things, but okay. Then about is there, and you can see this is here. Audio is there, so there is audio embedded in the game. So JavaScript, CSS, game, HTML, API, all these things. Then what all I have added, README, license, code of conduct is there, stars, etc., etc. Also, there are release. I won't talk about them now. Other things. So first impression when you come to this project. Okay, this is a project with some tags, etc. Yes, MD is for Markdown. Uh, yeah. Uh, So now if you go to README, you can see actually the first impression that it is spellbind. So what is mixing the magician, the witches, etc. kind of you get a vibe, right? So the spells. So we added this orbs and stuff here. So see, we like made it to center, the note for new contributors about this project. We added, you can see we added emojis, not a lot of like fancy stuff, but we added like see emojis. What is this game about? This game is fun, excitement amongst the user. These games helps you think all the possible aspects to solve the problem in a fun way. So it's a problem solving a trivia kind of game. You can see then new contributors added a note for new contributors then about the projects. So this was for yeah MLH Abracadabra Hackathon. We actually linked the hackathon, and I guess this has okay. This is the dev post link. If you can see a small hover there, so it's there is a dev post link here. So this story about the project, what story we thought by the project while building the project. So then screenshots. See, so even if I don't want to run the project actually, and like I'm just seeing the project in like say suppose 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I have like 3 minutes for one project. I'm not going to waste it on like trying to play a game and finding the stuff in the game, right? So I will just see, okay, screenshots. The first game is say suppose escape room. I will see, okay, okay, looks fun, looks fun. Then the second game, Flying Wizard, it's the second level in the same game. See, then we built this game. Now the technology is used. We used HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all that, etc. We have like mentioned every little thing. We have tried to mention every little thing. Then contribution. How can someone contribute to this project? Then open new issue, etc. How to contribute, then steps, cloning, forking, are the same thing. Then team members and contributors, we try to portray who all are trying to contribute to project. We want their like profile pictures to be there to like give a like saying thanks to them kind of thing. And we actually generated it from like online generator. So actually, if you go to this README and actually you can copy it and just change the name of your the link of your repo, then you can generate it for your own repo as well. But I personally like this so much because then you can actually add all your team members' photos at the end of the GitHub README because in starting, your members will be working on this project alone. Like, only your team will be working on it. So most probably there are high chances that, and obviously you won't let other like outside contributors. It won't be your first priority for to take outside contributors because that may be a violation of the hackathon. Right, so there would be photos, so it looks cool that there are like photos of your team members at the ends, like team members and contributors. So that was among the like first projects for hackathon submission. Let me check if I have another one uh, to demonstrate. Why am I showing this? To like show you go the kind of projects I and my team try to build and how we learned and how this project building and improvisation went along and how does it make impression while you're trying to submit the project. Um, let's see. Mm, okay, this is one of our good projects. Yeah, this is definitely a good project. So this is Learnscape. This is for one of the cloud native hackathons. So this has actually really good the like all the good things you can actually find a lot more things in this. So you can see that the earlier project was while our team was just getting started with like hackathons and stuff, but at this time our team was like good mature to like add. We have learned a lot of things at this point, so you can actually see how we added all these emojis to the commit messages. We actually like adding emojis to the messages. So if the thing is about like, setups or envs, so we will add gear, thumbs up. For documentation we will add this memo kind of things. For securities kind of thing we will add shield. For pins, for deploying for rocket, etc. All those fun emojis you can actually add smiley and stuff. Again, try to link your project here. I missed that, but glad I came to that uh, realization that you actually should add a live demo link here for your project. So whenever someone comes and don't want to go through any of this, they can actually click on the project link and can directly view the project. Cool. So yeah, see, we just animated. Check it out. So too hungry to study. Guess what? This was for the domain name. Obviously, we can try to come up with a good domain name. So Learnscape. Then we added a good GIF, which was created by Corona, which is another MLH. If you are around the MLH Discord, so then we try to generate this small tag. See, we are trying to get as much creative as we want and we are willing to, and trying to get more graphics or tags, something like that, visual stuff, to make our project really elevate, right? So then we added inspiration. Then see the now the emojis are getting changed by the section, right? So that creates kind of good sense that what section we are in and what should we accept. So inspiration, how what it does. So what is what the project does actually, then how we built it. So see, we actually spent time writing all these things and actually linking the so whatever API we built, we added it here. We linked everything. So uh, we used product and then we linked the product here, etc. Then how we use Twilio, etc. here. Uh, how like whatever sponsor category we targeted, we actually mentioned how we use the sponsor tool or sponsor category to make it differentiated. So whenever someone goes through a Redmi, they know that okay, they have used this sponsor category. Cool. What did they do? So instead of just mentioning we have used this sponsor, we actually mentioned how we use that sponsor to make it a good impression, and it's a good practice. Judges do look when they are judging for specific sponsor criteria, right? So they might get an eye on it and might be super impressed by how you mentioned it. So that does make sense if you have added how you have used a specific sponsor category or multiple sponsor categories. So challenges we ran into again, as I said, challenges we said, then accomplishments we are proud of. See, we added a couple of screenshots, what we learned and what we are next for. So we like we plan to add a lot more stuff here. So just a second, I think I ran out of my headphone back. So I will just quickly change that up. You can actually take a look at the README if you want. I'll just put it here. Hello, am I audible? Can anyone please confirm? Hello, hello. I hope I am audible. Yep. Thank you so much for confirming that. So coming back again. So this is like a kind of readme. I would like to see if I'm judging on a hackathon. Uh, and you can actually see what all stuff is going on here, prettier, etc., etc., etc. I won't go into deep. I would like to show you maybe contributing MD, because I talked about it earlier. See, contributing report, how to report bugs, how to request enhancements, etc., and linking everything wherever possible. So that's a good practice. Try to backlink as much as possible. Not to everyone, of course, but wherever necessary. Uh, uh, Sorry, what link do you want? Do you want the link for this project? Let me know. I would be I would be able to share that pretty easily. Cool. Then coming back to our previous repository. Yeah, yeah. GitHub links. embeds, and actually you don't have to put entire link. If you are not aware, there is like concept relative linking, so you can search about it on GitHub, so you don't have to add all github.com/etc etc. You can just put dot slash all the relative linking. You can go ahead and search it on Google. That would be really awesome. Again, uh, let's go back here. uh, just a second, my slides are loading, I guess. Okay, so readme, and now we are coming to the key takeaways. Before that, I would like to show you one more thing here. So say the time I said that there are like pre-built features enabled and some are disabled, but here you don't actually if you see neatly, you will see the releases are like no releases. Then packages, here is there is no packages, right? So that doesn't feel quite good. It's okay if there's nothing and you kept it like that, but if I am not using it, I would usually go ahead here and put releases, packages, and environments, save changes, and there are no more there. So the project is not getting cluttered. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show only those things that I'm using, and the things that are not relevant to my project or not relevant to me, I'm just removing that and not showing them. They're empty because they're empty anyway, so doesn't make sense in showing them. Again, the same here. So here Wikipedia, not Wikipedia, sorry, wiki, uh, which I'm not showing here, so I will just go ahead and remove it from here. So I don't want wikis to be there. If I want, I can enable discussion here. If I don't want projects, I'm not using projects, then I will remove the project. As I said, if you it's good practice to use it, but not super essential, like super mandatory to use project boards. But if you are not using it, please make sure you disable it. Always a good practice to disable whatever you are not using. Then coming back to our activity, so takeaways what we covered. So good readme is definitely catch an eye. So as I said, if your project has really good readme, okay, packages. So packages are generally uh, what I can say. There are kind of Docker files containers, I suppose. Let me just quickly check. There, if you are like trying to put it on your uh, instead of Docker Hub, if you are trying to put it under your yes if you are trying to put it under your GitHub registry. So if you are building a Docker image and instead of putting on Docker Hub, you are trying to put it on GitHub registry, that's a good practice as well. That usually gets it is usually shown under the GitHub packages. So for example here, so that's one of my projects, and if you see the packages, here is like the container image. You can actually build this in Docker. If you're aware of Docker, you know what I'm saying about. Again, coming back to topic, so then maintaining commit history is super important. Next, extra effort really do stand out. So whatever the emojis you put, extra tags you create, they actually create significant amount of impression on the judges. So extra efforts really do stand out. Then make it easy for the judges, right? So making it easy for the judges plays directly into your favor. So add links, project demo links at the start, add GIFs, add images, etc. So make it easy for the judges to judge your project. So instead of having the judge to scroll through or and go through all the files and seeing if you have implemented some stuff or anything like that, make it easy for the judges to find the things they want to see or you want to show the judges. That is really essential and a kind of smart thing to do as a hacker while doing the submission. And then hackathons are for fun and learning and exploring the tools, and its full potential is always great experience. So if if you're just uh, using single feature of a tool, that is not really going to help you. So I really recommend everyone to go like deep dive into any tool you are trying to use. Try to explore all its features, try to include what all features might be relevant to you, and maybe disable the other features which are not currently of any interest for you, right? So that are like from uh, that are like my that should be the key takeaways for this session, and that's all the stuff we have covered uh, today here. And if you have any questions, we have some time. I would really like to answer them. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat, and let me know how you are feeling about this session. And if you are getting bored, I would really like to improve on some things if you feel like that. So how was your experience with this session? I would really like to know that. If you have any questions or etc., I would really like to answer them. Also, just a reminder that uh, if you have not uh, yet checked in for this event, do check in. There are some swag giveaways. Uh, if you check in, and there are like point giveaways. So if you join, check in, you get some points and leaderboard, etc. You know all the things. So make sure you check in for this. Okay, we have some questions maybe. Hey, is there any guide documentation on how to add link, code snippet, etc. in README file or our GitHub repo? So there are actually GitHub documentation itself is there. So if you go to GitHub documentation on linking, so you can actually find it. Yeah, docs.github.com/working with files. So that is pretty kind of useful, I guess. So you can actually check that out. Everything you are trying to do is there on GitHub Docs, so make sure you have a good look at them. If you don't find it, let me know in the Discord, and I will be happy enough to share it with you. So, yep. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you learned something from this session. And I guess that's it. Thank you so much for attending. Please, if you really learned something from this session, please make sure you share it on your socials, tag me, MLH, etc. And we would love to see what you build on and how you are able to use GitHub efficiently for your Global Hack Week submissions or your next hackathon submissions. I hope this stream was really helpful, and we will see you around in Discord. Good day, everyone. Bye.